Good morning everyone. Myself Patel ma'am from SGM College Karad. Today I am going to teach you the subject Organization of Commerce and Management for Standard 11. Already we have been started with the chapter number 1, that is Introduction of Commerce and Business. In this chapter we will come to know more and more about the business, various types of businesses and the commerce itself. Okay, so we have started the diagram in the last lecture. You remember? A short recap I will give to you. The diagram was related to the classification of business activity. The classification of business activity is broadly classified into two big parts. The first is industry and the second is commerce. Yeah, in the last lecture I have teach you about the industry. You remember? Yes or no? In the last lecture I have teach you about the industry. What does an industry means? Yes or no? Industry means what? Industry is further divided into three parts: primary industry, secondary industry, tertiary industry. Primary industry was further divided into three parts: agriculture industry, extractive industry, genetic industry. Yes or no? Secondary industry was divided into two parts: manufacturing industry, construction industry. Tertiary industry was related to five parts: transporting, banking, hotel, tourism and entertainment. In the last lecture I have teach you the first half, and in this lecture I am going to teach you the second half of the diagram, which is what? Which is commerce. Commerce is broadly classified into two big parts. The first is trade and the second is auxiliaries to trade. Auxiliaries to trade. The first one we will see now is about the trade. First we will see the second half of the diagram, commerce. What does a commerce mean? Then we will see trade, auxiliaries to trade. Trade is further divided into two parts. The first is home trade and the second is foreign trade. Okay? Home trade is further divided into two parts. The first is wholesale trade and the second is retail trade. Foreign trade is further divided into three parts. First is import trade, second is export trade, and the third is re-export, also said as entry port. Okay, I am going to teach you all this today itself. Okay, the first one we will see today about commerce. Commerce is related to what? That we will see you today. Commerce is that part of the business activity which is concerned with the distribution of goods and with the distribution of goods and services which is produced by the industry. Industry is related with what? Production of goods and services, and commerce is related with the distribution of goods and services which is already been produced by the industry. See, that is so easy. It always include all those activities which are essential for maintaining a free and uninterrupted flow of goods. Yes or no? All the essential activities for maintaining a free and uninterrupted flow of goods. Commerce bridges the gap between the producer and consumer by exchanging of goods and services for monies or money's worth. Commerce is always related with what? Always commerce bridges a gap. Bridges a gap means what? See, I am a producer, then wholesaler to retailer, and then retailer to the common consumer. Common tell me, when I want to just want to bring a small packet of a biscuit, I go to where it is produced? No. Do I go to the wholesaler? No. I go to the common retailer shop which is nearby me. Yes or no? I want to just buy 50 rupees of biscuit. I will go to the wholesaler for that? No. I will just go nearby home. What my small retail shop is there nearby my home, I will go over there and just bring 50 rupees of biscuit. Yes or no? Just like that, always commerce bridges a gap between the producer and always consumer are brought near to the producer where exchange of goods, services are there for monies and money's worth. Always all the various types of activities are done by the commerce which are always essential for maintaining a free and uninterrupted flow of goods. A free and uninterrupted flow of goods are always been produced by it. Okay, yes or no? That was it about the commerce. Always remember, commerce is that part of the business activity which is concerned with the distribution of goods and services which is already been produced by the industry. Industry is related with production and commerce is related with distribution. Got it? Commerce is further divided into two parts. The first is trade and the second is auxiliaries to trade. We will see first part. Trade means what? Very easy is that. Once you understand, it is easy only. Commerce, which is divided into two parts. The first is trade and the second is auxiliaries to trade. Let's see the first part. The first is trade. What do you mean by a trade? Trade means what? Trade means buying and selling of goods and services. Of course, yes. When you buy, you sell various types of goods and services. That is a trade. Trade is exchange of goods and services with monies or money's worth. Goods are made available to consumer in different markets, and always trade facilitates transfer of ownership and possession of goods and services from a seller to a buyer. Whenever you are selling the good from a seller to the buyer, the possession always go from one place to another, and at that time that is always been said and denoted as a trade only. So trade always include buying and selling of goods and services. It is an exchange of good with monies or money's worth. Okay, so that is what? That is trade. Trade is further divided into two parts. The first is home trade and the second is foreign trade. So easy is that. Trade you understood? Home trade means what? First we will see and how it is. First we will see this part. Trade, which is divided into two parts, home trade, foreign trade. Home trade means what we will see. When the trade is done within the boundaries of the country, that is said as home trade or domestic trade or internal trade, one and the same. When you do the trade within the boundaries of the country, that is said as a home trade. Okay, home trade, domestic trade, internal trade, one and the same. Okay, opposite is this. When the trade is done outside the boundary of the country, that is said as a foreign trade, international trade, external trade, etc. Okay, so example, when one state of our country, India, do trade with another state, that is home trade. When our India is trading with USA, that is what? Of course, foreign trade, because you cross the boundary, that is international. Got it? Home trade? Home trade is that trade which is done within the boundaries of the country. Home trade is also said as domestic trade or internal trade. Got it? And always when you do within our boundary, local currency, which currency we have? Rupees. Rupees is only going to be used for various types of goods and services. Got it, everyone? Then home trade is further divided into wholesale trade, retail trade. Now wholesale trade and retail trade means what we will see. Wholesale trade is that trade when the goods are purchased by the wholesaler. Now a wholesaler purchase in large quantity from the producer and sell it a small quantity to the retailer. He is a link between the producer and retailer. Always remember, various types of goods activities are done by the wholesaler. Here three parties are there: producer, wholesaler, retailer, consumer. Okay, always remember this is the chain of distribution. First is producer, then wholesaler, then retailer, and then is common consumer like us. Always remember, wholesaler purchase from producer. Okay, producer is who? Producer produces the good. Sell it to the wholesaler. Then wholesaler purchase from who? Producer in a bulk quantity. And sell it to the retailer in a small quantity, obviously. So wholesaler is who? Wholesaler is a person who do wholesaling. So always wholesaler purchase from producer in a bulk quantity and sell it to the retailer in the small quantity. Wholesaler is a link between the producer and the retailer. Who is a link? Wholesaler. So wholesale trade are that trade where the goods are purchased in a bulk quantity from the producer. When a wholesaler purchases in large quantity from the producer and sell it to the retailer in the small quantity, he acts as a link between the producer and the retailer. Of course. Got it, everyone? So the person who do wholesale trade is said as a wholesaler. The person who do retail trade is said as a retailer. Now retailer is who? Retailer is a third person. Retailer cannot buy directly from the producer. Retailer always purchase from the wholesaler in the small quantity because he don't have that much capital. The person who do the retail trade is said as a retailer. Retail trade is a business activity associated with the sale of good to the final consumer. Retail is one who purchases from the wholesaler or sometimes directly from the producer and sell it to the consumer in the small quantity. He is a link between the wholesaler or sometimes manufacturer or with the ultimate consumer. Got it, everyone? So trade, which is divided into two parts. Home trade, which is done within the boundaries. Foreign trade, which is done outside the boundary. Home trade is divided into two parts. Wholesale trade, which is done by the wholesaler. Retail trade is done by the retailer. Wholesaler is a connecting link between the producer and retailer. Retailer is a connecting link between the wholesaler and the common consumer like us. Then the next part is what? Foreign trade. Foreign trade is that trade which is done outside the boundary of the country. Okay? When the two countries are trading at that time, that is a foreign trade. Foreign trade is further divided by import, export, re-export. Import means what? Import means purchasing the goods from other country. Export means selling the goods to other country. Re-export or entry port means what? I will tell you. Re-export or entry port means it is a combination of import and export. I will tell you in short. It involves importing the goods from one country and reselling these goods to the another country is said as re-export or entry port. Example, Indian seller import goods from Japan. See, we are from India. Example, we are importing from Japan and same good we are selling to the Africa. Got it, everyone? Importing means to purchase the goods from one country, another country. Exporting means selling the goods to another country, and re-export is a combination of import and export. Re-export, also said as entry port, means purchasing the goods from one country, same goods selling to another country. Like India is purchasing from Japan and same good India brings from Japan, it is brought to India, same good sent to Africa. Got it, everyone? So that was related to trade. And next is auxiliaries to trade. Okay, auxiliaries to trade are further divided into 7 points. One by one we will see. The first is transport. First is transport. Second is said as warehousing. The third is said as insurance. Okay, 7 are there, one by one we will see. Now what is auxiliaries to trade? Now it's a very big part, commerce, which are divided into two. Trade means buying and selling of goods and services for monies and money's worth denotes as a trade. Auxiliaries to trade means what? First we will see that, then we will go into detail. Auxiliaries to trade means all those activities that facilitate smooth flow of goods from manufacturing center to the consumption center are called aids to trade or also said as auxiliaries to trade. Now auxiliaries to trade always help the various types of a trade for their smooth functioning. Smooth functioning means what? I will tell you. Always the goods are produced by the producer, that is different. Until it comes to the consumer, various types of facilities are provided, like transportation you need communication, you need warehousing, yes or no advertising, all these things are related. So always auxiliaries to trade are those activities that help what? Trade for the smooth functioning and for the goods to bring from manufacturing center to the consumption center are said as aids to trade. Their activities play a very supportive role in helping removing hindrances which arise during the production and distribution of goods and services. When you are producing various types of goods and that means you want for production also and for distribution of goods and services, always you need various types of auxiliaries to trade. Okay, various types of auxiliaries to trade help for the smooth functioning of the business. Okay, auxiliaries to trade always help various type of a trade for the smooth functioning. Either it is related to production of goods and services or it is related for the distribution of goods and services. So auxiliaries to trade is not only helpful for the producer, but it has also been helpful for the common consumer part also. Got it everyone? Yes or no? Okay. So example I will give you if it is related with industry. Industry is related for raw material. Raw material are converted into the finished product in the industry. Yes or no? To bring the raw material from one place to another, you need auxiliaries to trade. You need warehousing, you need transportation, communication, advertising, insurance, banking, communication, all. For the production of goods and services, or take an example for the distribution of goods and services, you need auxiliaries to trade that help each part of a trade for the smooth functioning of the business. Various types of the business are always been help for the smooth functioning. Got it everyone? Auxiliaries to trade. So the following are the 7 points of auxiliaries to trade. One by one we will see into detail. The first is transport. Now see, first 7 I'll say you what is that. Transportation, warehousing, insurance, banking, advertising, mercantile agent, communication. 7 parts are there which help for the smooth functioning of the trade. Trade and auxiliaries to trade always compete with it, always make complete commerce. Commerce when it is related with trade, and trade can be done only with the help of auxiliaries to trade. Are you getting? So the first is transportation. Transportation means what? Transportation means movement of goods, animals, people from one place to another. Various types of transportations are there like roadways, railway, waterways, airways that help every time for the various forms of the business. The goods are produced at one place but they are demanded over a wide area. So goods are to be sent to different places when and where they are demanded. Modes of transportation facilitates movement of men and material from one place to another. Now only I said you various modes of transportations are there like roadway, railway, waterway, airway through which animals, people, goods can be transported from one place to another. As transportation means only movement of people and animals from one place to another, so transportation plays a very important role. The goods where it is produced, you have to bring that goods to the common consumer. So if I give you one example, if a wholesaler has purchased in a bulk quantity from the producer, he is going to take the goods on his head and going to go home. No, goods are going to load it onto the lorry or different types of truck. Then it will be bought, then it will be unloaded. You need each and every part transportation. Okay, so transport plays a very, very vital role because with the help of transportation, movement of men and materials can be there from one place to another, which help for the smooth functioning of the trade. Number 1. Number 2 is what? Warehousing. Now warehousing means what? Warehousing, in your common language I will tell you, warehousing means what? When the goods are produced. Where it is going to kept? It is going to kept in the warehouses. In your common language, you say this as a godowns. You know that? Godowns. So godowns are said as a form of the warehouses only. Okay? So warehousing plays a very important role. Warehousing, because when the goods are produced, it has to be kept in the warehouses only. So always warehousing removes the gap. Always warehousing removes the gap from the time of production till the time of consumption. In this between what gap is there, the goods are always kept in the warehouses. Warehouses are also said as godowns. Always there is a gap between the production and consumption. Certain goods are produced throughout the year, but they are always consumed in a particular part of a year, and vice versa. In the era of mass production, storage is indispensable. The goods should be stored carefully from the time they are produced till they are consumed. Price is maintained at a reasonable level when storage can be done properly. So warehousing plays a very important role, because when the goods are produced till the goods are sold, all the goods are kept in the warehouses. Okay, always there is a gap between the production and consumption. This can be removed only with the help of warehousing, and the price is maintained at a reasonable level, and there is a continuous supply of goods and services only with the help of warehousing. Because producer also produce the good, kept in the warehouse. Wholesaler bring the good from the producer, keep in the warehouse. When it is at the time of consumption, that time only it is bought in the market. Got it, everyone? So in today's lecture, we all have seen that is business, industry. I teach you in the last lecture. In this lecture, I teach you about commerce. Commerce divided into two parts: trade, auxiliaries to trade. Trade divided into two parts: home trade, foreign trade. Home trade divided into two parts: wholesale trade, retail trade. Foreign trade divided into three parts: import, export, re-export, also said as entry port. And the auxiliaries to trade, the remaining part I will teach you in the next lecture. Total 7 are there. I will continue in the next lecture. Enough for today. Thank you.